What happens to evil people after they die? Do they face punishment, or do they escape justice forever? Sita, a woman haunted by the loss of her parents and the cruelty she witnessed as a child, is determined to find out. She digs up the grave of a man who committed unspeakable crimes, lies inside it, and waits for answers. But what she discovers is far more terrifying than she ever imagined. This is a story of revenge, redemption, and the chilling truth about what lies beyond death. Are you ready to uncover the secrets of the afterlife? Let's begin. The film begins with a girl opening a dead man's grave. She sleeps in it with her brother. She was Sita. She wondered if evildoers were punished after death. Her brother sits next to her with the final tomb piece. Once the grave is closed, the girl switches on the camera. A snake was coming into the grave from above, but Sita's brother didn't see or tell her. Sita's past prompted her bizarre experiment. She witnessed a bomb detonation that killed her parents. Since then, she'd assumed nice people don't always win. Bad guys exploit the planet and get no penalty beyond death, while nice guys get nothing, according to Lillian's study. Years ago, Sita and her brothers were orphaned after their parents died. Lillian's teacher teaches her that evil people's afterlife penalties are bad. Sita disagreed and went to her brother's room to show her teacher wrong. Sita was the first to enter this room, which was believed to be a ghost that vanished upon entry. After going inside with her brother Adil, she found only darkness. Strangely, when she walked inside more, Adil and Sita couldn't see or hear each other. Sita went ahead since she was anxious about her brother and saw a fearful toddler in the tunnel. This was his soul, not a child, and Sita was afraid when he told her his name strangely. It was scary when the child said, Ismail. Sita was afraid and came out of the tunnel to find Adil and the villagers waiting for her. These folks are returned to the orphanage, where Sita simply wondered how Ismail's spirit entered this tunnel. Why is his soul wandering? She started following and listening to the teachers and staff. Sita discovered Ismail's true identity when a teacher and caretaker were conversing. She discovered this orphanage belonged to a wealthy man. He didn't make this orphanage for good. He built this institution for himself, not the children. He helped the needy and took his favorites. Rich people abused that child. Ismail was another sad child who many privileged people had mistreated. Since then, his soul wandered that tunnel. His choice of Adil this time is told to Sita. No one saw Ismail after that night except Sita in the tunnel, according to the teacher. Sita rushes to save her sibling. She grasped her brother in 2 hands before she could. Sita may threaten them, so they seized Sita and imprisoned her in the storeroom's shuttered windows and doors. Sita struggled to breach these sealed windows with her scarf to save her brother. She succeeded too. She was met by the caregiver when she emerged. She brought Sita money and important items, so she can save her brother and leave. Where they took Sita's brother was revealed by the caretaker. Sita reached the route where she had to take Adil while fleeing the wilderness. She hit a stone, distracted the driver, and fled to save her brother. The scene cut to Sita grown up after 10 years, who works in a retirement home. Sita's mentality was limited by her parents, regardless of time. At that time, it didn't occur to me that bad people and good people have the same fate. After death, only evil dwell. Their carelessness continues beyond death, and virtuous people receive no recompense or tranquility. She was willing to do anything to prove this. The orphanage owner who raped children is her subject for her experiment. Currently, he lived at his old age home. She gathers evidence of his wrongdoings first. Then she intoxicates the old guy and makes him confess his fault. He dies after realizing all these horrible things. Love Pie's children knew his sin. Love Pie was rich, so he didn't say anything. None of his sons support him posthumously. His funeral is old age home. He gets buried in a casket after Adil wakes him up. Sita wanted to know what happened to this awful man after death. She went to the grave. The movie began with this scene. After her burial, Sita turned on her phone. Adil told her to call him if anything went wrong. He sat near the grave. After some time, Adil observed a snake approaching the cemetery. He instantly retrieved Sita from the grave. While Sita was in the grave, nothing unusual happened. Her theory was confirmed. Evildoers are not punished after death. She says this on a morning show. She records there too. However, playing the recording revealed nothing. Adil erased everything. Nobody trusted Sita's words. Screaming, Sita cried. She asked Adil, "Why did you?" All of this seemed wrong to Adil. Bad people will get greater share and no one will regard good people. Adil tells Sita, "You're bad too. You also only considered yourself. In the old age home, you did your job poorly, your duty." Words from Adil broke Sita's heart. She took a picture of her parents at home and cried. She thought Laupai called her while crying. She followed the voice into a room. No one was there. Laupai died. When she closed this room's door, Laupai's voice returned. A shadow appeared when she turned. She observed an elderly woman in this old age home when she approached. She sobbed and told Sita her husband was unfaithful. She lived with her. Sita spotted her husband with a nurse when she went with her. Her screaming increased when she saw this. All elderly age home residents forces assembled. This tragedy was too much for that woman at her age. Her goal was to murder him. Sita stopped her and took her away. This old woman's ring gets trapped in the washing machine at night. When she went inside to remove it, she mistakenly clicked the washing machine button, and she died in laundry. Everyone took her out after hearing her yell, but it was too late. The man was devastated by his wife's death because he hadn't apologized to his wife. This shock made him cry and go insane. Sita wanted to help this old man. Adil's words touched her. She saw a shaman in her retirement home. She inquired, "Can she call the old woman's soul?" The shaman agreed. She sat at a round table with elders. They lit candles. They lost a man. Invited Sita to sit. Sita was worried. Their ritual must be done without Sita. Forced, Sita sat. The rite brought the old woman's soul to the shaman. In the voice of the dead old woman, the shaman spoke. Her spouse apologized when she heard her voice. "Old woman, I won't forgive you this way till you kill the woman you misled me with." Sita sensed trouble when she heard this. She instantly asked the shaman to stop this procedure. But soon, all the old people spoke like the old woman. That killed her. She felt unsafe. She stood up after the rite. So she lighted the candles and opened the drapes. She broke tradition and immediately saved that nurse. She just reached the nurse. She was about to hear something. That the elderly man killed the nurse too. Sita rescued her in a room, closed the door. There was another man with her. "Who kills her with a gut stab?" asks the old man. "You killed this innocent? Why?" The old man responds, "That I want no grief after death. That woman requested punishment for this girl, and I gave." Hearing this, Sita doubted. Sita believed she had seen her morning show. Sita failed to prove anything in that morning show. Do dead people get punished? Her search was online. She discovered that after Sita's show, Sita wowed many. They repeated Sita's test. This time, strange things abound. Recorded with human, ungood people, from graves. Screams and yells were recorded. Peace came to some tombs, which mean that follows death. He then, given punishment. All of this astonished Sita. She pondered, why did not Lao Bai experience this? Considering this, she dug Lao Bai's grave quickly and went inside again. But what did she witness in Iran Kundal? What she saw, even Lao Bai's bones were missing. Suddenly, grave dirt, grave leaves, falling on it, escaped them. She digs a front hole, goes inside. Once she arrived, from behind, the earth was her last barrier. Sita advanced. She found a tunnel. In which tunnel? She went. Same tunnel. In which she discovered Ismail. That tunnel was not in this city. Sita pondered. Possible oxygen deficiency. She's hallucinating. Next moment, it was Ismail's old voice. She realized that he shares the tunnel. She entered the tube. She witnessed Sita's youth. Outside a window, her parents stood, waving for her. Seeing them moved Sita. She wept at their sight. Next moment, everything disappeared. Tunnel returned to normal. She began moving ahead. At present, she heard Lao Bai's regret, also shouting, when Sita proceeded, meeting her orphanage buddy, before whom Ismail stood. Sita pondered. This may be her hallucination, she recalled. Ghosts exist, until you doubt them. They're invisible. She closed her eyes, made up her mind. She can't see anything. She opened her eyes. Again before her, there were orphans. Ismail approached her and chastised her. He said, "You left me that day. Why? Why didn't you comprehend that day?" "I was afraid." Behind me, someone came. Hearing it, Sita fretted, and then she heard a voice overhead. It sounded monstrous. Seeing it, Ismail told Sita, "No more fear. Do not fear this." To avoid this, jumping into the tube, with me. The tunnel was deep. Nothing entered. The monster approached too. For that reason, in the tunnel, Sita and Ismail jumped. In an instant, when she woke, she was lying with Lao Bai. Sita turned. Lao Bai lay beside her. Whatever she saw, she found the dream terrifying. Screamed she, known as Adil. But nobody was outside. No one helped her. Now a snake entered the grave and climbed Sita. She bit Sita. And then, it entered Lao Bai's mouth. When it entered the snake, Lao Bai rose and sat. Lao Bai's head was hammered. Bloody tears lay on Sita's face, and she was terrified. But this was just the start. Broken head of Lao Bai. Adil then suddenly opens up the grave and takes out Sita. They gets out of the graveyard, and the film ends with Sita and Adil escaping the graveyard after a horrifying encounter with Lao Bai's reanimated corpse. Sita's experiment to prove that evil people are punished after death takes a dark turn when she witnesses supernatural forces at play. Despite her effort, she fails to find concrete evidence to support her theory, leaving her disillusioned and heartbroken. However, the final scene suggests that Sita's journey has changed her. She realizes that her obsession with proving the existence of post-death punishment has blinded her to the importance of living a good life in the present. Adil's word, "You're bad too. You only considered yourself," hit her hard, forcing her to reflect on her own actions and motivation. The film's moral is profound. Justice is not always visible, and obsessing over the fate of evil people can lead us to neglect our own humanity. Instead of seeking revenge or proof of divine punishment, we should focus on being kind, compassionate, and just in our own lives. The afterlife may remain a mystery, but how we live today is within our control. What did you think of Sita's journey? Did she find the answers she was looking for? Or did she lose herself in the process? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more thought-provoking stories like this one. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. And remember, stay curious, stay kind, and keep exploring the mysteries of life with iMovie Summarized. Until next time.